Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Engen Pitch Polish competition 2022. Now, round 1 was excellent. Some of my favorites went through, some did not. I know it's the same with you. But I can tell you this much, round 2 is going to be amazing. We saw those guys that competed. But to know that, we need to find the expectations of the judges. And I'm going to go in there and find out. Please join me. Hello, judges. Good to see you again. And here we are, round 2. Now I'm going to ask you this. I know round 1 was amazing, but Ellen, what could have been better?
Round 1 was amazing, you're absolutely right. I feel that there's more they could have volunteered. And, having an inclination towards numbers, I feel that some of them missed an opportunity to talk a little bit more, elaborate around sort of how the numbers are playing out in their business. So I think they sort of scratched the surface in the first round. I'm sort of personally hoping we'll get a little bit deeper in the 2 minutes they've each got today.
And you, Bulela, what are your expectations of them on round 2?
More polished. I think having done it one round already, I would expect that the nerves are a bit less and that they can really tap into their why and really showcase their business and their abilities to run those businesses.
Alonchi believes they pitched, but they were not polished. What do you believe?
No, I agree with Bulela. And what I'm looking for today is to see if they listened to the feedback and they went to look at their notes and actually, I want to see improvement from last time. If I don't see improvement, I'm going to actually mark them back, not forward, back.
Thank you very much, judges. Let's see how the contestants will live up to your expectations. But first, let's go for a learning session and join Yez at the Business Exchange.
Thanks, Rams, and hello, viewers. Tonight, we're tackling one of the most important parts of an investor pitch, the numbers. If you can show that you know your numbers well and that you don't shy away from the financial management of your business, your potential investor will know that you take your role as the leader of your business seriously. Do I hear you saying, "But yes, I'm not an accountant. I don't understand complicated numbers. Surely I can just outsource this to a finance professional." Well, no, you can't. You can absolutely outsource your bookkeeping, but managing your finances is another matter completely. You, as the owner, must always be on top of your numbers. Remember, ultimately, you are responsible for all the taxes and legislative requirements relating to your business's finances. Now, I have to confess that I also once hated the numbers, but there is a simple way to approach them. All you're doing really is telling the investor the financial story of your business. Your story starts with your projections. We recommend a 3-year projection plan that includes budget and cash flow projections. Each year in your plan should have a worst case, best case, and most likely case scenario. If you're already trading, you also need your latest financials so your investor can compare what's happened in the past to what you say will happen in the future. This provides them with a sense of how credible you are, as well as how you approach the financial management of your business. So, what does an investor look for? To find out, you're going to have to head over to the Pitch and Polish YouTube channel, where I'll happily be sharing this info with you. But that's all for tonight's episode. Back to you, Rams.
Thank you, Yez. I hope our remaining 8 contestants were paying attention during their learning sessions, because things are about to get a lot more serious as we kick off round 2. Let's take a look at the competition standings. Returning from the red group, we have Lucky Mnigati and Claire Lewis. From the green group, Palesa Mutaung and Tabiso Sebata. From the blue group, Notando Kowa and Luvo Kukwana. And as we saw last week, Victor Sables and Bati Lestona have gone through from the yellow group. If you remember from last year, in the second round, the remaining 2 contestants from the 4 groups will go head-to-head until only one remains. This will leave us with just 4 contestants going into the semi-final round. Also, stay tuned because later on, we're giving away yet another amazing Take-A-Lot voucher worth 5,000 Rand. So far, we've given away a massive 40,000 Rand. The next 5 could be yours. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for the sharp end of this episode. Our first contestant to pitch in round 2 is Claire Lewis, founder of Katanimate Animation Studios, based out of KwaZulu-Natal.
Welcome, judges.
Good to be here.
Yeah. Wow. You're looking stunning.
Thank you. I'm dressed by Engen Pitch Polish 2021 contestant who made it to the final 3. Plus Fab is the brand.
Omar.
Look out for it. Omar Teme, yes, indeed.
Yeah. Looking absolute. She's talented, eh? Wow.
She's very talented, and we're excited to have found opportunities to work with her. For Engen, it makes sense to be part of this opportunity to further open up a market for the talent that we see coming out of Pitch and Polish.
So even if you don't win, you still win.
You still win with Engen, Pitch and Polish.
Welcome, Claire.
Hello.
How are you feeling today?
More prepared.
More prepared.
Yeah.
A little less nervous.
Yeah.
And you know this time we've got 2 minutes, not 1.5 minutes.
Yes.
Claire, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pitch and Polish.
Hi, my name is Claire Louie and I'm the owner of Katanimate Studios based in Durban. I have a master's degree in animation and I am passionate about growing animation in KZN. This year I designed and lectured an animation short course at Durban University of Technology. And in the past 5 years, we've secured 3.8 million Rand in grant funding. In that time, we produced a short film, which is now just been submitted to the Durban International Film Festival. And we've trained 20 interns. 8 have gone on to other employment or they've started their own businesses, and the rest are still with me. We have 2 proof of concepts for the 2 TV shows that are in advanced stages for and ready for licensing. Last week, Nativille was chosen for a finance forum at the Durban Film Mart, and after a very tedious selection process, we are now going to be able to find distribution find the potential for international distribution. Additional revenue stream was identified in finding a merchandising partner, which you spoke to just last week. Time Sliders has an international broadcaster attached. So my aspiration is to build our own studio, create profitable products and a highly skilled workforce and become less dependent on grant funding. So how are we going to do that? We're going to create we have two sustainable revenue streams to cover our fixed cost. And to answer your question, it'll be a motion graphics division, and we'll become a service studio for larger production companies, which we've already been in talks with other companies last week. And we anticipate that we'll make between 900,000 and 1.2 million Rand a year through this, as well as looking at merchandising. Your 650,000 Rand will unlock the 2 million Rand, but...
Oh. Let's start with you, Palela.
Thank you, Claire. What sets you apart and what do you think will make it easier for your customers to choose you to partner with in the animation business?
I'm not sure, like what do you mean in general, in animation?
I mean, in specifically your business. Why should they choose you versus another animation business?
We are full animation studio, which many studios aren't. They're either development or they're production or they're post-production. We are a full studio. We offer the full service. And we are still quite new in the business. So we're very, very aware of been and taken into consideration our customers' needs and what it is that they want, because we want to still establish ourselves. So we're very prepared to work with them on their terms, which a lot of people aren't, but not to the detriment of it being hurting our profits.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you mentioned a couple of additional revenue streams that we didn't hear about in your first pitch, specifically merchandising, and then also, forgive me if I haven't interpreted it correctly, studio hire. Have I got that right?
Service studio.
Service studio?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just maybe want you to elaborate a little bit more, like the merchandising, where are you with that thinking? And what do you think it might generate you? And does the merchandising relate to the productions, or does it relate to Contaminate?
No, it relates to the projects. So one specific project, which we're going to concentrate on for now, is Nativille, because that will be the one that we believe we're going to start with first. I have been speaking in the week to somebody who has the license for ShopRite. So this is the person that we've only just started speaking to them, so I don't have any figures yet. But it was promising what he said about Nativille and what the potential could be. And sorry, what's your second question was?
It was around the service studio, just
Yes.
trying to understand that revenue model a bit better as well.
Okay, we've got some meetings coming up now, because we'll be doing, hopefully, these animation songs like Cocomelon and those kind of songs, but doing it in 3D for different production companies who already have the rights to those songs, and we'll just be doing the animation part for them. So we do anticipate that that'll be quite a long partnership, but we'll only know more in the next month when we're talking about it. The figures that they were talking about would definitely be enough to sustain us for definitely 6 months at least.
Thank you.
Yep.
Claire, for me, I just want to understand the economics of a production of an animation movie. How do you make money in that? Just explain to me who, when you sell it, like who gets what money. You got distributors, you the in inverted commas, the manufacturer. You've got people who are actually screening it. So there's a lot of players. I want to understand your understanding of all the players and what margin they make, or what percentage of the total value they make.
Could I use Nativille as an
Sure.
example?
Yes.
Right. For us to produce Nativille, it's going to cost 6 million rand. We know this from all the different budgeting and everything that we have. We would make money from going out now to get pre-sales. So there's two different ways. Pre-sales will be before it's even made. So they will invest and they'll say, right, we need the rights for example, they'll take it for 5 years and they'll have 10 runs. And unlike royalties, where you get the money afterwards, with pre-sales you get the money up front, so you can do the production. So we would go now with this finance forum, we'd go and look for different distribution partners in different territories. What helps us is that every time you dub it into another language, you open up a new territory. So you literally you could take about maybe 1.5 to 2 years just to secure the funding, which we've been doing. And once you've created your product, depending on the deal that you've made, in our case, we own 100% of the IP. So we're the ones who would commission or get somebody who would be a sales agent to go out and get it, and we'll decide on a percentage that way. But there are many territories.
So now you've got the pre-sales.
Yes.
All right. So but do you have to make more than 6 million in your pre-sales, or do you aim for half in your pre-sales, or what's the expectation on pre-sales as a function of 6 million rand?
The pre-sales, usually it would cover, once we got 40%,
Yeah.
which we have already got 20%,
Right.
so we need an additional 20%. Once we've got that, we can go into full production.
And what
with
happens
that.
if you don't secure the other 60%?
Then you'd have to keep looking for more pre-sales, get more sales agents.
And what happens if you don't? You go belly up, or you stop producing, and
you
then
stop producing that particular show for
and
that
what
time.
happens to the pre-sales that you've sold, to the 40% that you've sold? What are your commitments to those people? Do you have to give back that money?
Yep, you'd have to, over a period of time, depending on the contract that you've had, because they never work the same way. They're always different.
Okay, and is that the only revenue source is just pre-sales?
No. For us, it would be from the Department of Trade and Industry. So with the projects, we do have to get funding from government sources, or you make an arrangement, whichever broadcaster, that they would take so much percentage of the IP. I wouldn't be the majority IP holder, but that's something you want to avoid at all costs.
Okay, Claire, thank you. You may leave.
Thank you. Okay.
Your thoughts, Belela?
A bit disappointing for me. I think her first pitch was stronger. I was left less clear than I was in the first pitch. I think with more time that she was given, she should have perhaps started from where she left off instead of starting right at the beginning again. So yeah, a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Huh?
I don't know. I mean, I'm maybe in a slightly. I mean, I think I feel maybe a little differently. So my sense is that she tried to explain that, in fact, there is more revenue streams associated with what she's doing than certainly was apparent to me during the first pitch. And I sense that was very intentional, because I think our line of questioning in the first pitch was around just trying to understand revenue. I think the bit that I'm still, I guess, unconvinced about is, because I guess I don't know what the potential is. So to the question, the line of questioning you were sort of directing towards her, Alon, you know, if you had the privilege of having another 5 or 10 minutes, you might just get to the bottom of it. But my sense is that there's obviously the risks that you've identified through that line of questioning. I would love to have known what the upside potential of these things are.
Yeah.
Because the moment this thing starts getting legs, particular productions, and it is being dubbed, as she mentioned, and it starts getting into different territories, I think that's when it probably has the potential to be really profitable.
Yeah.
That's what I understood from it. But yeah, I mean, actually, it wasn't too bad.
Well, in my opinion, she didn't explain that she had the opportunity to get that across. And then when we looked at she didn't get to the 650, so the timing, she spent a lot of time on her authority, which is great. We saw that. Her experience, that's great, but too much time there. And then now we want to understand what the 6 million, but you know, I can make 10 million in revenue, we'll make 4 million in profit if this is happening. It feels like she threw all those things at the end. And if you listen to the language she was going, and we had the meeting this week, and we had the meeting this week, and we had the meeting this week, I'm thinking you're so far into this, why are you having meetings this week? You should have been thinking about this before. And so that gives me a huge amount of anxiety if I was to invest in this business. So I think she went backward in this, even though she tried to go forward. Yeah.
Claire, I don't know about you, but I saw a much more relaxed and more confident Claire this time around.
Yes, that is true. More relaxed, yeah, a little more confident, especially after being with our guides.
So tell me about your guiding experience.
Oh, mine was definitely helpful, very good. Zeppo was my guide, and based on the comments that Alon made in round 1, I wasn't that confident on how to prove sustainability in my business. Because with us, it's been a lot of help through grant funding, and that's not sustainable. So he helped me to understand that there's a difference between my animation studio business and the different projects that we work on. Apparently this is it's a trap or flaw, that a lot of creatives, we always think it's the same thing. But through being with him and going over all the different scenarios that I could follow, yeah, I feel very, I'm happy and I'm very confident now.
What do you think you did differently and better this time?
I was able to prove that our company wasn't just relying on grant funding, because that seemed to have been a big gap which Alon picked up on. And going back in the week, really looking at how we could keep ourselves sustainable without any grant funding.
Ready for round 3?
Yeah. If it comes, hey, yes, I'm ready.
Well, I wish you luck.
Thank
well
you.
done. All right, let's give away another Take A Lot voucher worth 5,000 Rand to one lucky viewer and that could be you. Here is tonight's question. How many interns has Claire trained? How many interns has Claire trained? If you think you know the answer, visit our Pitch and Polish Facebook page and post it there. Your answer must be posted before midnight tonight, and we'll announce the randomly drawn winner's name on Facebook tomorrow afternoon. Next in front of the mic is Lucky Mnigati, another contender from KwaZulu-Natal and founder of Ikahlamba Trading Enterprise.
Good morning, judges.
Welcome, Lucky.
Yes.
Lucky, I see you got something there in your hand. Have you got something for us?
Yeah, I've got contracts here which will be your point of reference.
Okay, please would you share it with us?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Got two for you.
Two. I get
Yeah.
Thanks, Lucky. Cheers. Are they all different or are they the same?
Yeah, it's two copies. But Alon has got everything there. He's got both contracts.
Thanks for those documents. Are you ready to pitch?
Very much so.
Great. Lucky, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pitch and polish.
Hi, my name is Lucky Mnigati from Ikahlamba Trading Enterprise. I'm in the business of student accommodation. In 2019, it came to my attention that 3,850 students are looking for their student accommodation, and these are the students who are funded by NSFAS. Then I identified this opportunity by approaching one of the owners of the building, which was lying there unused for a number of years, with an intention to convert this building into student accommodation. Initially, with the advice from the architect, I thought the building would take like 250 students. But with the standards and the regulations set by the university, the building has a capacity of 150 students. I am currently 158 students. I am currently housing 120 students who are providing an income of 378,000 rands a month. The running cost for the building is 240,000 rands. I've subsequently, as you can see in the documents, signed the second contract, which will accommodate 100 students, and those students will provide an additional income of 310,000 rands per month. That takes my income to 688,000 rands for both buildings. I hope with the winnings from this competition, I will add 38 more bets, which will give me an additional income of 199,000 rands, and 119,000 rands to be precise. And in total, if all that has been accomplished, I'm looking at making about 807,000 rands per month. The good part about this is that this is a NSFAS guaranteed funding. So the business is sustainable and all the money is there. Thank you very much.
And 0 seconds left. Perfect timing, Lucky. Great. Last time we started with Belela, let's start with you, Adam.
Yeah, thanks, Alon. Lucky, I see the document you supplied shows you've got a contract with the Durban University.
Yes.
Is the other two buildings, are they also with the Durban University?
Yes, they are now contracted to the Durban University.
Okay, so Durban University, they pay you on a monthly basis, not the individual students. Is that correct?
Yes, the money comes from NSFAS straight to the university, then it comes to me.
Okay.
In a block.
Okay. So maybe you can just talk to us about the payment terms you've agreed with the Durban University. You know, you're going to invoice them. When are they going to pay you? And then having a brief glimpse through, I see there's sort of clauses that relate to things such as continual electricity supply,
Yes.
continual water supply,
Yes.
and the potential for penalties in the event
Okay.
that neither of those two utilities are available.
Okay.
So I guess the second question would be, how are you going to go about ensuring that those utilities are consistently available, given that I know, electricity, with load shedding is a challenge.
Yeah.
And I know in Durban in particular, or KZN, you guys have, experienced your fair share of problems with respect to things like floods and stuff like that. So I'm keen to understand how you're going to mitigate the risk of your students not being able to avail of those type of utilities?
Okay. As I've mentioned in my presentation, the running cost for the first building is 240,000. That includes electricity. And I've anticipated with the winnings from here that the income will go up to 119,000 rands additionally to what I'm getting. That will take care for the electricity and other costs. Well, it's a fractional number. It's not like the current 120. 30 won't make a huge difference in terms of the consumption of the electricity. In terms of payments, the university, they pay every month. On the last Thursday of the month, we get our payment as in terms of the contract.
Okay, so I still feel the first part of my question, I'm asking you more around how do you mitigate the risk of being paid less because electricity and water supply has the potential of not being consistent? Because my understanding of this contract is that you would potentially suffer penalties on what they pay you if electricity and water is not supplied consistently to the students. So I'm guessing I'm asking what is your plan to make sure that there is continual electricity and water supply into the student accommodation?
Okay. As part of the long-term program is that I'm planning to because the buildings are the high-rising and the first building is like 2,000 square meters. There's a space for solar system as well as to use the harvesting the natural water in a long run. But at the moment, we don't have a crisis because this, whatever we're getting there is catering for every expenses that the building is requiring.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Thank you, Lucky. How do you manage quality and consistency in your business? And by that, I mean the quality of the accommodation you're offering and the consistency of offering to the students. Students are known to not look after properties that they occupy. So how do you ensure that consistently you've got the quality that the university or NSFAS would expect for these students?
Okay. I have a plan that during the intervals around June, July, mostly students will go to, for holidays. Then we'll look around and look for things that needs to be renovated, painting and all of that. Secondly, because the biggest issue with the students is the Wi-Fi. So we regularly ask our service provider to come and check the speed of the Wi-Fi. I mean, last week alone, we had to call them to up the speed and the taking for the Wi-Fi. As well as in December, we also check around because the university itself, every year they come and check if all these furnitures and the things that they require, they are in a good conditions. So by ourselves, by commitment and by contract, we are forced to keep the standard and the quality as required by the university.
Thank you, Lucky.
So Lucky, I just want to come back to also the contract, and I haven't had time to look at it properly, but you get paid 12 months even though the students aren't there for 12 months. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then coming back to the model, the business model, you spoke the last time about buying existing, not buying, getting involved with a partner who owns the building and then converting it into residential, for residential use. Where is, in terms of the difference between what you're making from the university and your running costs, where is the owner of the building in there? Are they in the 240 or are you splitting the 240 to the total income, the 300 odd? How do you take care of the owner of the building? That's my question.
I've got a lease. I've got a lease to buy contract at the moment because initially that was my idea to buy. Lease to buy. So it gives me a flat rate of.
But is the leasing in the 240?
Yes.
The price is there.
Yes.
You're not splitting at the top. Like.
No. The 240 expenses. Then it also covers the lease payment.
Okay. And then the last question around that, the amortization of the build, the construction, taking the construction cost and amortizing that cost, including furniture, etc., that you're putting in. Is that also in the 240?
No. I mean, that's yes, that's in the 240 because I had to use my own money.
But are you taking care of it? My question is, if I look at your financials, if you get through to the next round, and I look in your financials in the 240, will I see a line item or 2 line items relating to the fact that you've actually recovering your
Yes.
capital cost in the
Yes.
240, or do I
Yes.
still have to take it from the top,
Yes,
in the bottom?
yes.
All right,
Can I ask a follow-up, one more question?
sure.
Just, I guess the only other question I've got is it relates to, so it sounds like your business is heavily concentrated on Durban University,
Yes,
to the point that it sounds like they're actually your only contractual customer.
at the moment.
So that's what my question is. So how do you plan to take away the risk of your business being reliant on having a contract with one party?
Yeah, I've already signed the contract with the third building, which I'm preparing now for the next project. There's University of there's UKZN, University of Natal, which has got the same almost the same demand as the TUT. So the plan is to next year I'll be moving to the third building, which will also provide an additional income.
Okay, so you're
And
constantly need to diversify your customer risk.
Yeah, yes, and it's the capacity as well. It's got like 120 students that will be accommodated in that building.
Okay.
Lucky, thank you for your pitch. You may leave.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
He seems to know the numbers.
Yeah, he does. I think there's lots to support with this particular one because we know I think we all know there's intuitively good demand for student accommodation. The numbers seem to, based on what we've seen, and I guess if we were to advance, maybe we'll get even more insight into the numbers. The only thing that worries me is just the concentration risk, that if things had to go a bit pear-shaped with Durban University, that could actually mean the end of this business, unless he diversifies and gets more customers, signing on with him.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Valera?
I think he's definitely taken advantage of a gap in the market. Accommodation, we know, is in dire need, especially for students and otherwise. So I have a slightly different view that even if the universities don't, I think other educational institutions and other segments of the market would definitely be keen customers to be attracted by what he's offering here. I was impressed by his pitch. I think it was more polished than the first round. He seemed calmer. He listened to the questions. He could get better at answering the specifics of what's being asked, but definitely an improvement from round one.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I thought it was a hugely improved pitch. And what I love about the pitch is that he knows the numbers. Like the lease to buy. Like I think he's a phenomenal businessman. Like I really do. Yeah. So it's time to score. Let's see if the score reflects that.
Lucky,
Yes.
you did something special. You brought in documents, and I suspect financial documents. Do you think it helped?
Yeah, but not financials, but the contracts that I was talking into, and they are the basic part of this program. Yeah. I think they did wonders for me.
The judges asked you a lot of questions. In your view, is that a good sign or a bad sign?
It's a good sign because they were asking me about my business and I was able to provide them with the answers. And also, at some point, they asked me a lead question, which I thought was very good for me to say from here where I'm moving for. So,
In fact, I felt like you anticipated their questions very well. There were times that you answered them before they even finished.
very well. I'm very much prepared. That's what I'm saying. This is my business. I live it, so the answers will naturally come from.
Which part of your presentation today would you attribute to the guiding?
Yeah, it was the sustainability and the projection, as well as the forecast, as well as the issue of growing the business. Because we spoke about it, and he said to me, if I'm able to bring out that element to say, I'm not confined within this, there is a potential, there is a market, then one of the judges threw the question to me. I said, thank you very much, Papa.
Let's now catch up with our judges before they head into deliberations to find out their impressions of tonight's pitches. Well, judges, I don't know about you, but I was impressed, but I don't know much. You know, you the experts here. I'm just the voice behind the camera. Or is it the face behind the microphone? Whatever it is. Bulel, do you think the pitches on round 2 of the red group were much improved from what we saw last time?
I definitely think there's a strong candidate coming through. I think there has been substantial improvement.
Where exactly?
Confidence levels, preparedness, articulating figures for the business, and just owning the space.
I found that, Alan, they also pitched and finished within the given time. Is that a sign of confidence, of knowing what they're talking about, and improvement to you?
It's certainly a sign of preparedness, because it suggests to me that they've rehearsed this and polished things up a little bit. So, in fact, the one finished right on the button. 0 time left, got what they need to say, said, and that was obviously really impressive.
Now, Alan, we spoke about expectations earlier. Did they meet the expectations? Your expectations, Alan?
One did, one didn't.
And you're not going to tell me?
No, that we're going to leave for a bit later.
Well, on that note, thank you very much. And then let's see what these judges have decided who goes through.
Are the contestants? It's a nerve-wracking time. It's a terrible thing when we get down to 2 people and it's not 4. The chances are definitely 50-50 right now. And it's very hard for us as judges when you've got 2 great pitches and 2 great opportunities. But the rules of this competition is that one of you needs to go. To give you some things to think about, some opportunities for improvement, Bolela will give you some insight.
Thanks, Alon. Thank you to you both for your pitches. There were improvements as far as the first pitch and this one. Starting with you, Claire, I think specifically if you could spend more time with your figures, understanding them better, being able to articulate them better in your pitches. There was a lot that was still uncertain. You'd had meetings this week. There were things you were finding out about in the next month. And that just seemed out of place at this point, considering you've been running this for a while. We just needed to see more certainty around what was happening there. Some of the questions you didn't answer directly and spent a lot of time explaining, but didn't quite go to what was being asked. And lastly, the 650, there wasn't clarity around how exactly you wanted to use that. And you could have spent more time giving us a clearer view around that. Lucky on your side, same with the 650. We needed to understand better how you would spend the 650. You used the time eloquently, but you didn't use it enough to leave us clear as far as that. I also think just from a presentation perspective, you could put a bit more effort in looking like the astute businessman that you sounded like standing here. So pay attention to those details as well.
All right, from my side, I'm going to talk about the things that I thought were good, and then I have the unenviable task of asking one of you to leave. I'll start with you, Lucky, in terms of the positive. I felt there was a massive improvement, as Bolela said, between the last round and this round. And this is pitch and polish, and we're looking for the polish that you've taken the feedback. I thought that providing us with a contract, which is proof, which is very important for us to see. We'll certainly be looking at those contracts should you go through. So just a warning to anyone who's providing stuff here that remains evidence for the future and might not knock you out, or you might be knocked out now and we won't need it. And I thought you knew the numbers. You didn't explain the how exactly you'd use the 650, but you understood the numbers, I thought, very, very well. Claire, I love the fact that you wore your brand. That, to me, as an entrepreneur, you're proud of your brand, you're building your brand in the startup phase. You know, any opportunity to show your brand, you show your brand. I thought you took into cognizance the fact that we spoke about, you know, the lines of income, and you try to express more lines of income. I think that's very important from a judge's point of view and investor's point of view to know that you've got more than one source of income, whereas you, Lucky, you know, live and die by one client right now. You've shown more income. And then you spent quite a bit of time, perhaps a bit too much time, on your authority, but you spoke about your authority in the industry, where you come from, your degrees, what you've been doing, and I thought that was very, very good. And investors like that because it shows that if I give you the money, you're going to know what to do with it. In this pitch, like you didn't do that, you know, you didn't show your authority. So well done on expressing your authority. So the person who's going to leave today is Claire. Thank you for pitching, and good luck in your future.
Thank you, judges.
So Lucky, you were lucky this time.
Yeah, no, I think as you have said, I've worked out on the numbers, and I think this time the presentation was much better, and I think I'm getting used to the studio. Next time I'll be even much better.
You have to be, because the competition's going to be much higher, and I hope you've listened to the judges' questions and that you incorporate that in your next pitch.
Okay, thank you very much.
So well done, and off to prepare.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Lucky.
Well,
Thank you.
Congratulations, Lucky. And I'm so sorry to see Claire go. But Claire, I wish you all the best as you build your business to greater heights. Thank you for joining me again tonight. Next week, we will be seeing our 2 remaining Blue Group contestants battling it out for their place in the semi-final. And of course, there will be another viewer prize giveaway. So if tonight was not your night, next week maybe. Let's make it a date. Meet me here again next Tuesday at 7 o'clock for more Engen Pitch and Polish action. From me, Rams Mabote, good night and God bless.
Even though I'm not going to go further in the competition, I am very grateful for this opportunity. I've learned, I've grown, and as a business person, just the fact of having to pitch and pitch and pitch and pitch, I'm ready for all the finance forums that are coming, all the investor forums that are coming. I understand more about how to talk to them in their business vernac, like I call it. And it's not such a mystery anymore. So I'm really happy about that.